Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'll be doing my third 2023 NFL mock draft. Before we get started, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 80 subscribers by the end of the year, and it would really help out. Also, leave your video suggestions for future videos down below. I'll take any and all videos into consideration. Obviously, they have to apply to the videos that I post on my channel. But yeah, anyways, let's get straight into it. Here with the Chicago Bears with the #1 overall pick, they are a prime trade down candidate here. And yeah, I feel like a ton of quarterback needy teams will want to will give up significant draft capital to take their quarterback in the future. And I feel like the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields are in a good spot with their franchise quarterback. So yeah, I feel like they will definitely do a trade down here. And I feel like with a team like the Chicago Bears, they could definitely they're probably going to trade with teams that are outside of their conference. And yeah, I feel like a team like the Indianapolis Colts would work out really well for here, or really well here. And yeah, I feel like a trade with the Indianapolis Colts would look like their first with the #4 overall, their second with the #4 overall in the second round, and a next year's first rounder. And yeah, I feel like this will be a good trade for both sides. Chicago Bears are getting more draft capital to rebuild their team. Indianapolis Colts are getting the quarterback of the future. So yeah, I feel like this trade will work. And yeah, I feel like a player like Bryce Young is going to work out well for the Indianapolis Colts. He is an explosive playmaker at the quarterback position who has a great arm and great accuracy. Paired along with that elite playmaking ability, this makes him a prime candidate to be the #1 overall quarterback. The #2 overall pick, the Houston Texans are a team that are definitely in need for a franchise quarterback, and I feel like a guy like C.J. Stroud, this isn't a consolation prize for giving up the #1 overall pick against the Indianapolis Colts. And yeah, with a player like C.J. Stroud, I feel like this is another team that is definitely going to get significantly better with their new quarterback. The #3 overall pick, I feel like a team like the Arizona Cardinals, they're in a situation where they don't need to take two of the best defensive players on the board here. They need to continue to build around Kyler Murray. And yeah, I feel like a team like the Seattle Seahawks could possibly lap the Chicago Bears to take one of the best defensive players on the board here. So yeah, I feel like the Seattle Seahawks will trade with the Arizona Cardinals for this pick here. And yeah, I feel like this will look like obviously the Cardinal selection, the Seattle Seahawks selection at #5, and most likely a second rounder here. And I feel like maybe an additional 6 would work out well for both teams. And yeah, I feel like this trade will be successful for both sides. Seattle is jumping up 2 spots to take their defender of their choice, and Arizona is moving down for additional draft capital to help build around Kyler Murray. So yeah, I feel like this is a good trade for both sides. And yeah, with Seattle Seahawks here, they need to continue building around the interior defensive line. They've really been lacking in that area for many years, and yeah, I feel like with one of the worst run defenses in the league, a guy like Jalen Carter will definitely fill that need there. A dominant force on the interior, and yeah, he'll definitely be there for many years. Chicago Bears pick here. I do not believe they would have gone with Jalen Carter. I feel like they will go with Will Anderson, probably the top player in the entire draft. He is a dominant edge defender, and the only reason I believe he did not go #1 overall was because of the quarterback situation, with many teams needing quarterback here. And yeah, I feel like the Chicago Bears will go with Will Anderson here. This is definitely a no-brainer pick. Arizona here, definitely they traded down with the Seattle Seahawks. And yeah, I feel like, as I said, they need to build around Justin Fields, and I feel like a guy like Paris Johnson here, he has good flexibility. Played at guard for most of his career at Ohio State, but in his final year moved to left tackle and played incredibly well. And yeah, I feel like that positional flexibility will definitely tempt the Arizona Cardinals to take him here, and I feel like he'll be a good fit. With the Detroit Lions here, they're a team that basically just going to take the guy left over from the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. I feel like a guy like Myles Murphy will work out for them. One of the highest upside players in this entire NFL draft. And I feel like he'll work out well with Aiden Hutchinson, providing a very young, dominant duo on the edge. With Las Vegas here, they are in need of a quarterback. Derek Carr's definitely going to be gone, and probably most likely in the offseason. And I think a guy like Will Levis didn't have the best senior year, by far did not. But many scouts like how he's projecting to the NFL, and yeah, I do too. He has an incredible arm, great height, great weight, and yeah, I feel like he's a guy that will definitely be a very solid, if not elite quarterback in the NFL. The number 8 overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons here. They need help on the edge. Definitely, we're lacking in the sack department this year and as well as last year. And even though they um, use significant draft capital and significant resources to move up or to take edge rushers and pass rushers, they have been still been lacking in that department. I feel like a guy like Tyree Wilson will work out well for them. Number 9 overall pick. At the time of recording, the Carolina Panthers have hired former Indianapolis Colts head coach Frank Reich. And yeah, I feel like a guy like Anthony Richardson would work out well in that system. Frank Reich is a coach that very much values the quarterback position. And I feel like Anthony Richardson will work out well. Has probably the highest upside out of any player in this entire draft. Could possibly, with the correct development, turn into the next Josh Allen with his tools and skill set. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the way he plays, and I feel like he'll project well with some development. The number 10 overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles here. I feel like a guy like Brian Breesy will help shore up their defensive line. They have aging defensive line who are definitely going to cost a ton of money to retain. I believe they have 2 or 3 of their starters on the defensive line projected to go into free agency this year. And I feel like Brian Breesy, along with Jordan Davis, will be their two young budding superstars on that defensive line. The number 11 overall pick, my Tennessee Titans here. In my opinion, it's Quentin Johnston or Peter Skoronski. They could take the explosive playmaker out of TCU, or the very versatile, proven, like basically a proven player here in Peter Skoronski. And I feel like Tennessee Titans will bank on that. They need a definite surefire pick here on offensive line. Have definitely been probably the worst offensive line in the league for the past 1 or 2 years. Definitely in this year lacking a ton, and I feel like the Peter Skoronski will work out well for the Tennessee Titans. The Houston Texans come back here with another pick, and I feel like this is another no-brainer pick here. Quentin Johnston is a very tall, fast, explosive playmaker, and I feel like with C.J. Stroud, this will provide one of the best very young duos in the NFL. Number 13 overall, the New York Jets. For whoever their quarterback will be next year, they need a very good blindside offensive tackle to help protect him. I feel like a guy like Broderick Jones, some scouts are projecting him to even be the best offensive tackle in the NFL draft here. And yeah, I feel like he will work out well for the New York Jets. And yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Obviously, playing in the SEC, playing against top competition will definitely fare well in the NFL. The New England Patriots here, they have a variety of different selections they could go with. Wide receiver, they could go corner, but I believe they will go with a very good, tall, lanky cornerback who has incredible speed, and that is Christian Gonzalez. He is a true man-to-man defender with great ball skills. He definitely needs to work a little bit on his craft, but I feel like he can turn into a bona fide superstar here with the coaching from Bill Belichick. At number 15 overall, the Green Bay Packers here. They could end their 20-year drought at not taking a first-round wide receiver, or they could go with a tight end that is more or less like could turn into the next Rob Gronkowski. And I feel like they will bank on that here. Michael Mayer, whoever the quarterback here is in Green Bay, is definitely going to be a top target for them. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the way he plays. And yeah, he'll be an instant starter on that Green Bay Packers team. Number 16 overall selection, the Washington Commanders here. I feel like this is a situation where they need to go with a corner. I feel like a guy like Kelee Ringo, in my opinion, he is my top cornerback prospect in the NFL draft. Has the best ball hawking skills out of any player in the secondary. And yeah, I feel like he is an incredible player. Will be an immediate starter on the boundary. And yeah, he has incredible speed, good height, and incredible ball skills. This is going to work out very well with the right coaching. And yeah, I feel like he can definitely become a top 10 cornerback in the league. At the number 17 overall selection, the Pittsburgh Steelers here. This is a no-brainer pick for me. Joey Porter, his dad played um, for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 8 of his 13 seasons. And yeah, I feel like with the family lineage there, this will work out well for them. With the Detroit Lions here coming back at the number 18 overall selection, they need some help in the secondary. Definitely could go with a slot type guy, and I feel like a guy like Brian Branch. He can play deep, he can play in the slot, and I feel like he's a great player for this scheme. And yeah, I feel like Dan Campbell will very much value him here. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick here, they need to shore up their secondary, and I feel like a guy like Cam Smith can definitely do that. He is a great player, definitely improved from last year, and yeah, I feel like he is a definitely, in my opinion, a top 3 cornerback in the NFL draft. Number 20 overall selection, the Seattle Seahawks coming back from taking Jalen Carter at the number 3 overall selection. They could use some help in the wide receiver corps. If they re-sign Geno Smith, they're going to need a number 3, and I feel like Jordan Addison will provide an incredibly good trio with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jordan Addison, of course. And yeah, I feel like once Tyler Lockett leaves, he can definitely take over the number 2 role alongside DK Metcalf. And yeah, I feel like he's a good fit here. And yeah, they're definitely next year they will probably be a very fearsome front with Jordan Addison, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. The number 21 overall selection, the Los Angeles Chargers. They need a guy on the right side that can shore up their right side of their offensive line. I feel like with a pass protection specialist in Anton Harrison, this will work out well. They're running a pass-heavy scheme, obviously with Justin Herbert, who is a top 10 quarterback, and I feel like Anton Harrison can definitely complete their offensive line. The number 22 overall selection, this is a no-brainer pick for me. Bijan Robinson here. Don't need to provide too much analysis here for this. With J.K. Dobbins and if Lamar Jackson returns, These will be one of the best trios in the backfield for any NFL team. Defenses will be getting nightmares about this, and yeah, I feel like Bijan Robinson is a generational talent and will work out well. If not for the positional value at running back, he would be a top 10 pick. The Minnesota Vikings here, they need a guy that can shore up their secondary, and I feel like a guy like Devon Witherspoon, who many are projecting to be the number 1 cornerback in the draft here. I feel like he's a great player, and yeah, I feel like he'll be useful for any team that takes him, and I feel like a team like the Minnesota Vikings will work out well. With the Jacksonville Jaguars here, they have some players that could be on their board here. I feel like maybe going on the D line, maybe going on the O line, depending on the way you look at it, but I feel like possibly a guy on the offensive line would work out well. Maybe on the interior. But yeah, I feel like a guy like DeJuan Jones will work out well on the right side. Maybe provide some extra help, even a little bit of depth until he can come into the starting role. And I feel like he has definitely some good talents and good traits. Yeah, I feel like he'll work out well for the Jaguars. With the Giants selection, this is a no-brainer for me. Jackson Smith-Njigba, they have the worst wide receiver situation in the NFL, in my opinion. I feel like this will shore up their situation there. With the Dallas Cowboys selection, I feel like I like this pick a lot. Drew Sanders out of Arkansas, will definitely provide an incredible player alongside Micah Parsons. Similar type of breed here, definitely not nearly as good as Micah Parsons was coming out of college, but Drew Sanders was an edge rusher at Alabama before he transferred to Arkansas at linebacker here. And I feel like with that flexibility, this will tempt the Dallas Cowboys. With the Buffalo Bills pick, I've been projecting this for a while. O'Cyrus Torrence, a dominant blocker out of Florida, will provide excellent play on the interior for Josh Allen for many years to come. Cincinnati Bengals pick here, I feel like a guy like Clark Phillips would work out well. He is a very good competitor out of Utah. Definitely bringing them with one of the best defenses in the college football world. Denver Broncos pick here. They need an edge rusher that can help shore up their edge, obviously. And I feel like a guy like Nolan Smith would work out well. Kansas City Chiefs here. I feel like this will be back-to-back edge rushers. They need some help on the edge, and I feel like Isaiah Foskey would do it. With the Philadelphia Eagles pick here, I feel like if C.J. Gardner-Johnson leaves, Antonio Johnson will be the pick. And trading Simpson here will work out well for the Steelers. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and yeah, peace.